Who will the Eagles take in the first round heading into the 2025 NFL Draft? Let's talk about it. This video isn't breaking down multiple prospects, going through multiple mock drafts. I'm not that guy. I consume a lot of draft content, but I'm not going to pretend like I'm out here watching film of these college kids. I'm just not. I'm more keeping up with the draft and kind of just giving my opinion on how I want the Eagles to go about this draft as a whole, but specifically in the first round, what do I want them to attack? And the Eagles have a lot of options here. They have a lot of options. This is a pretty interesting class. It's primarily focused on defensive linemen, offensive linemen. There's a couple of good tight ends. You have some linebackers and some safeties, and then of course you have the couple quarterbacks. Not very receiver dominant this year, which is something that we haven't really seen in the last couple years. I would say the best receiver on the board, it looks like Nate McGillen from Arizona. And then you have you have a couple solid running backs, but the ones that come to my mind are Genty and the kid from North Carolina, just blanking on his name. But you have some talent. There is some talent within this draft. But obviously, as Eagles fans know, we have the 32nd pick overall. We're not going to be able to pick these premium players. It's just not going to happen. So who do I think the Eagles are going to get? More, again, specifically, what position do I think the Eagles are going to go after? And for me, this is all based on priority and how the draft falls. I think the Eagles have a lot of things to consider. Again, let's go to the offensive line. You have a majority of the offensive line locked up. You have Mykel locked up. You have Dickerson. Juergens just signed a contract. You have Lane locked up. Right guard, it's a little thin. You did lose Becton, which sucked. And you did also lose a swing tackle as well, Fred Johnson. You still have Tyler Steen, but he's kind of hit or miss. But again, he's still a young player, so he can be developed. I think if the Eagles were to go offensive line, you maybe would go guard or you would go right tackle, because at some point you are going to need to find a replacement for Lane Johnson. That's just how this is going to go. He's going to need someone behind him at some point. So I think that's something that the Eagles could invest in if they, again, find the right guy at the board. The other side that they need to address is, of course, defensive end. You lost a lot of talent this offseason. You lost a Hall of Famer, at least for the Eagles, Brandon Graham. You lost Josh Sweat. That's going to suck. You lost a lot of talent when it came to that specific position. And yes, you still have some young guys there. You have Jalex Hunt, and you have Nolan Smith, but there is just still a little bit of gap there where they're going to need rotation guys. You know how the Eagles get down. If you're a fan, you know how this works. So I think realistically, they probably will go defensive end. There's just so many to pick from. You have the kid from Georgia, Texas A&M. You got, again, I could go on and on. There's so many options. I think defensive end could be a good play here because, again, you're just really reloading the strengths of what this team is already built on. And again, I think it wouldn't hurt getting a bunch of young talent on that D-line because, again, you're just getting more bodies to consistently rush the passer, and a lot of these kids would be young. So I wouldn't hate if they go defensive end. It's more just really, again, which defensive end are they going to get? So we'll see on that one. I think a sleeper position, it's not necessarily a sleeper. It's been mocked a lot, the safety from Georgia, but it would be safety, specifically free safety. Or I guess it would be strong safety. I'm getting it. Why am I getting it mixed up on what Reed Blankenship plays? But you're going to need to find a replacement for Gardner Johnson. That's just very clear. Did I expect him to be moved this offseason? No, that sucked. But at the same time, you got to make those moves when you want to re-sign guys like Jalen Carter in a couple of years. So I think they could go safety. I wouldn't necessarily be in love with it, but it also wouldn't piss me off at the same time. I think it's something that they could do because they are going to be very thin at that position. So I think it's something they do need to invest in. But I still, for me at least, I'd probably prioritize defensive end over safety. And last would be a premium pick, but I'm hearing that it could happen, is the Eagles getting a tight end. The Eagles have pretty much said that Dallas Goedert is not going to be on this team without saying he's not going to be on the team. We'll see if he gets moved within the next couple of days. It's something to keep an eye out on. I don't know. We really don't know. But again, it's a bittersweet situation because this guy's been on the team since 2018, literally the year after they won the Super Bowl. And the fact that he finally got a Super Bowl, it really did mean a lot to me, at least as a fan. But again, he's also dealt with injury problems. He's getting older. it does make sense on paper for him to get moved, but at the same time, you got to do what you got to do. Now, if the Eagles want to get a tight end, they can. Obviously, Tyler Warren is the best tight end in this class. There is no debate. As a Penn State fan, there is no debate. This guy is a freak athletically, but I just don't think he's going to be there at that point, and I don't see the Eagles trading up to get him. They would have to trade up a lot, and I just don't think they're in that position. So I don't even see them getting Tyler Warren. There are some other prospects as well. We just really have to see. Again, if they want to go tight end, sure, they can. I'm just, I think they have bigger needs. But obviously, not having a great tight end, if they do end up moving Goddard, would be a glaring weakness in that offense. So it's just something to consider, but I don't think they go tight end realistically. Let me know who you want the Eagles to draft. What positions do you want them to attack within the draft overall? But again, specifically first round, do you think they're going defensive end? Do you think they're going offensive line? I didn't even speak on this. Do you think they're going defensive tackle? Do you think they're going safety, tight end? Like we have a lot of options potentially for what this Eagles team is going to do. So let me know what you think down below. If you enjoyed this video, feel free to give it a like. If you like this type of content, please subscribe. I will be continuing to make videos on the NFL draft, the NFL, numerous sports. Take a look at my channel and you'll see what I got. So yeah, if you made it to this far into the video, I really appreciate it. And I will see you guys on the next one. Peace, guys.